Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking a little bit about the difference between an Octobox and a beauty dish. And I'd like to do a few more of these comparison videos because I feel like it helps, especially with beginners when you're starting to learn more and more about studio lighting. It's pretty overwhelming at first because there's so many different modifiers. It is really hard to know which ones to pick and which ones do what. So I'd like to go over a few more details about the ones that I like to use quite regularly, especially with beauty and fashion photography. So the two lighting modifiers that I'm going to talk a little bit about today is my Elinchrom Octobox. So it's a portable, lightweight, small to medium sized Octobox, and it tends to work very well for beauty portraits in particular. So we're really going to cover beauty portraits and close-up portraits in studio today. And we're also going to talk about my Elinchrom White Beauty Dish, and I believe that is 44 centimeters as well. And we're going to compare them in the sense of how they're usually used or they're bought. I want to talk a bit about them in the sense of how they compare when they don't have a lot of different sub modifiers on them, so like grids or anything like that. Just a bit of a disclaimer for these particular lighting modifiers, you can really modify them to almost have very similar lighting situations to both modifiers. You can modify them as much as you like or as little as you want, so the lighting can change. But we're going to really talk about the basics here and how an Octobox is usually used in studio and how a beauty dish is usually used. So all that's going to be added to the Octobox today in terms of a sub modifier is just a diffusion sheet. So that's going to be added to the edge and the exterior of the Octobox. And with the beauty dish, I'm just going to be using a deflector disc in the middle, which is how that is quite often used as well. So first off, we're going to start with the Octobox and what kind of light this produces. So the Octobox, like the one I have, is usually going to be bigger than a beauty dish, and it will usually spill a little bit more light over a larger area than the beauty dish itself. It potentially might even illuminate the backdrop a little bit more without having to need to put an extra light in the background. Obviously, this is very dependent on the power of your lights. For me, I'm using the Elinchrom Delight RX4s, and I'm using this in a kit of 2. So in talking about these lights specifically today, it does give me a larger spread of light by using the Octobox because it does take up a larger area, being that it is a bigger modifier. It also has a much softer effect than the beauty dish overall, especially with the use of the diffuser, and it creates a very creamy, soft, highlighted effect over the skin. You'll tend to see that the highlights are a little bit muted, and there's a little bit less contrast overall on the skin, but you'll also see that there's really lovely catch lights in the eyes, especially compared to square softboxes. Now, square softboxes will leave a lot more of a square kind of look in the eyes, and it doesn't always look that great for beauty shots, especially because it's so noticeable being very close up, but the Octobox will leave more of a circular look in the eyes, so that always is a plus with using an Octobox. So the attachments that came with my Octobox are actually a grid to direct the light a little bit more, and to give more of a harder effect. It comes with an internal diffuser as well to help diffuse the light even more. And it also comes with like a circular strip that goes around the rim of the Octobox, and that actually helps it become a little bit more like a beauty dish in the fact that it gives more of a circular appearance with the light coming out of the modifier. So you'll see some examples throughout this video of the Octobox and how the light appears on skin tones and how it appears in a beauty photography setting. I really love Octoboxes. I think they're one of the most versatile modifiers out there, and I personally loved using it as a beginner because it really helped me experiment with all the different modifiers that you could use for it, and it really prevented you from having to go and get another light to add to your kit because, like I said, it's so big that it really does help illuminate a beauty setting quite easily. So now we're going to move on to beauty dishes, and they tend to have a slightly different effect to the Octoboxes. You may actually need an extra light in your kit to help fill in the shot, or you may need it for the backdrop, as usually for a beauty dish this size like I have is a little bit smaller, and it's really meant for beauty purposes. It's meant for up close portraits, so the light's not going to spill as far as the Octobox would. Without a diffuser attached to them, they tend to have a much more crisper effect with lighting, and it tends to pick up the highlights and the texture on the skin a lot more, so you'll really see that sharpness close up in the skin tone. It tends to be a harder light overall, a slightly harder light, but it's still quite a flattering light at the same time. It's not too hard, but it will also help the highlights on the skin tone to stand out a little bit more, and it tends to give them a slightly shinier effect, so really great if you want to go for a very glowy effect on the skin tone too within your beauty photographs. It also adds really great catch lights. For the catch lights, they're beautiful circular spots into the eyes, and it just looks really great close up, especially for macro shots. If you're really getting close in on the eye, it really works well for that too. Beauty dishes work really well for retouches because, like I said, that does pick up that little bit extra texture on the skin tone. It gives retouches more to work with when it comes to texture on the skin tone and really keeping it intact through the editing process. So beauty dishes can be altered using diffusers to help diffuse the light a little bit more, or grids to help direct the light a little bit more, or they can even be altered with deflector discs as well. You can purchase silver, gold, white, different little deflector discs that go in the middle of the light. Both offer really, really flattering light, and they're two of my favorites for beauty photography. When it comes to those lighting modifiers, I really can't live without them, so they are two of my favorites, and like I said, they both offer very flattering light, so it's up to you on which one you feel like would be more beneficial. As I said, I do believe the Octobox can be a little bit more versatile due to its size too, so you can do more styles of shots. You can probably do like half torso shots as well, and even to an extent further back. So whereas a beauty dish of that size can kind of limit you to the face, and that's kind of it. But having said that, they're two of my favorite lighting modifiers, and I hope you guys have learned a little bit more about them today. I hope it's given you a bit more information if you were deciding on whether to purchase one or the other. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want more videos like this one, please let me know in the comments section below. I'd be happy to film more like this. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel already, please click the subscribe button and the notification bell to make sure you see all the videos that I have coming up in future, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!